Okay, so before I get into this video and start talking about my finished Chroma and his build and what use of Arcanes I'm using and so on, I just wanted to quickly direct your attention to something away from Warframe, and it's away from gaming in general. It's actually in the dreaded real world, and I know real world actually exists and it is a really scary thought to us gamers, but I've never done anything like this on a video before, so I hope it comes across okay, and hopefully none of you guys get offended, but you maybe will understand where I'm coming from once I've finished talking. I live in a very small town in Ireland, a town where everyone knows everyone and most people are friends with each other, so events or news in this town travels fast, whereas bad news travels even faster. Like say, news of a very small 2-year-old boy needing to travel to France for a life-saving operation and chemotherapy after being diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer. His name is Senan, and like I said, he's only 2, and to get this operation he needs to raise some money. Now my YouTube might not exactly be huge, but I have a large enough base of awesome people to bring this to and hope it might help make a difference to this kid's life. Now I'm not forcing anyone to donate and to help this little man out, but if it does tug at your heartstrings and you feel like helping this little guy out, then I will leave the link to his donation page in the description below. If you can donate, then that's brilliant, but if you can't, then that's also fine. I know not everyone can afford to donate to things like this, which is okay. Simply sharing the link maybe with someone who could donate would also be a great help to this little guy. Of course, I myself am going to donate because I know these people, I see them every day, and I have a kid that's the same age as Senan, so I can only imagine the pain of being told that your child is sick and needed such a drastic operation to save his life. So like I said, it is what it is, and I know the Warframe community is one of the better ones out there in terms of gaming communities, and if they could possibly help out, then that's awesome. Like I said, the link is in the description. If you do choose to donate even the smallest of amounts, then that is absolutely awesome. Just leave the little guy a message once you donate, wishing him all the best in this really hard battle, and a very big thank you from me. Honestly, that was probably one of the hardest intros I've ever done in a video, and hopefully it won't have offended anyone. It's not the way I meant it to come across. I'm just trying to help this little guy out, and I'm kind of hoping that some of you guys do it. But anyway, on to my finished Chroma. Along with Valkyr, Chroma is easily one of the best tank frames in the game. We know this, he's an absolute beast. He's not a paper tank, but he's a tank that can soak up some serious damage from enemies while allowing you yourself to dish out high amounts of damage in return. He's a tank capable of running an hour-long survival mission of the highest level in Warframe without any real struggle. For me, basically he is the ultimate solo Warframe, but my opinion might be a little bit biased because he's also my favourite frame in the game. Now, to prove such a point, I decided to run 2 separate 1-hour survival missions on Ceres, one after another, to see what kind of damage I could soak up, and with the addition of Arcanes I could literally stand in front of a Grineer heavy gunner and allow him to empty his whole magazine into me while my health didn't move one bit. It dipped for a second and then the Arcane Grace kicked in and it leveled it right back off. And I think the enemies were around level 70 to 80 at the time, so any other frame and that would have put you down in a heartbeat, but not with Chroma, and probably not with Valkyr as well. So at the minute, my Chroma has 2 maxed out Arcanes on him, Arcane Grace and Arcane Guardian. Guardian, which will increase your frame's armor by 60% for 20 seconds, and Grace, which will regenerate 4% of your overall health over 6 seconds. Now Grace has a 6% chance to proc whenever I take damage, and Guardian has a 20% chance to proc whenever I take damage as well. So you can have both of these active at any given time, as well as your Vex armor and Elemental Ward, so you become a really strong tank. And considering at the same time Chroma is all about taking damage, which will then increase his overall damage output, both of these Arcanes proc non-stop. If, like me, a lot of the time you find yourself running solo missions, which I do a lot when recording, then maybe you should look into getting a Chroma and building yourself some of these Arcanes. You will need 10 of each of these Arcanes to bring them up to a maximum level, so you will need 10 Arcane Graces and you will need 10 Arcane Guardians. Of course, the Arcanes drop in the Law of Retribution trial, or raid if you want to call it a raid, so you will need to either farm raids to get these drops, and you of course also pray to RNGesus until you get enough of them, or just go ahead and buy them for platinum on the trade channel. At the minute, each Arcane Grace sells for about 50 to 75 platinum, and each Arcane Guardian sells for about 30 to 50 platinum, which is a decent amount. It's not too high and I guess it's not too low either. Which means it's going to cost you anything up on, I guess, 750 or 500 platinum for each of these, which I guess isn't too bad considering Arcane Avenger will cost you well over 1000 platinum if you want to build 10 of those, unless of course you're farming the trials, in which case you're going to get them for nothing. Now my Ice Chroma build has pretty much stayed the same as my original build, but with the addition of putting Handspring in the Excellent slot, which means an extra former. Also, something I've been asked a lot with my original Ice Chroma video is, why not go for more shield and why was I using Vigor over redirection? And it's simple, for you to get the maximum buff of Scorn or Fury from Vex armor, all you need to lose is 400 shield and 100 health. So if you're running with 800 shield, then your armor will be at maximum from Vex armor once you lose 400 of that. So a maxed out redirection is going to take up more mod capacity and is a bit pointless in my opinion. I run with Vigor simply to give me a boost in health and to bring my shields up to 420, because that's how I blaze it. Now if you want to drop out Vigor, then that's up to you. This video is of course just a guideline after all, and it is just me showing you guys how I run with my Chroma, because it is something that I've been asked a lot since update 17 if I had changed them in any way. Now let me know what you guys think of my finished Arcane Chroma. Of course, this is the Ice build because that is what I run with 90% of the time. I'm sure some of you guys will be running with a Fire Chroma or with an Electric Chroma or even with a Toxic Chroma if you're running with shotguns. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more Warframe, and as always, thanks very much for watching.